A few videos ago you saw us attempt to unblock one of our water pipes which goes underground and seems to have got full of silt and sediment and mud. This wasn't very successful, and it's been a couple of weeks since then, and we've called a plumber. We've tried to get a plumber out, but we realized that what the plumber was going to do was just try and blast out the dirt and stuff with a pressure washer, like a high pressure water thing, which actually some of our friends have these machines already, so we decided to give it a try with a borrowed machine. This is the machine here. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be, and it comes with a little attachment thingy and pistol type thing, so we're going to give that a go this afternoon. We really need to fix this water situation or it's going to be really bad. This is plan B. We do have a plan C and a plan D, but I'm really hoping that this will work. What we're going to do first of all is load up the car with the generator. We're going to have to get that down there because this is going to need to run off some power. First we need to unload the car because I've just been out to buy some materials for other projects, so we need to sort all that out. I'm just looking at this and seeing that it says 450. I'm wondering if that means it's 450 watts.
That's what I thought.
Which doesn't seem very much since our other pump is like 800 and this is a high pressure pump. But I'm just wondering before we put the generator in the car whether it's worth trying to run it off the EcoFlow.
Maybe. I'm not sure. We could look online.
I think the 450 is the flow rate, 450 litres an hour. So we've bought this big 300 litre bucket to fill up because we need the water closer to where we're actually gonna use it. So we'll see how long our hose is and hopefully it'll stretch. I just realised I forgot to get a towel to plug the pipe that carries on in the other direction to all our deposits, so I need to go up and get that, and I think I'm going to get a longer hose pipe as well just in case we need it to reach all the way back there where we also need to get to. I feel like this is my most accurate fancy dress costume. Okay, let's give this a go. Yeah, we definitely needed this extra section of hose pipe.
So yeah, we are gonna do a small test because obviously this pistol, this like Ghostbusters type pistol, won't fit into that hole. So we're gonna just try it with the loose. So we think that because the nozzle is not super small, it won't come out with like super high pressure. So we might need a different kind of fitting for this, but we'll see. This could be a terrible mistake, but we'll.
Don't aim it at me.
Yeah, of course.
So we're definitely getting quite a bit of overflow coming out here into this deposit. That's quite a bit of water. It's really hard to tell in this little basin what's coming in and what's going out, but this is a positive sign that quite a lot of water is getting through the pipes. Let me squirt some more water through. So we're getting quite a lot of muddy water coming through the pipe now, which is a good sign. We've jiggled the high pressure pipe around a bit, and yeah, this is what we wanted to see, a lot of muddy water coming through. I think we'll just finish pumping all the water that we've got in that 300 litre tank, and then reassess and see what the situation is like back at the main deposits, and whether that helps the water flow or not, and whether we're kind of on the right tracks with this. So we're trying plan C today. Oh, I don't know what plan we're on now. We're trying the drain cleaning company. So the water, did it work? Well, at this precise moment in time, it is a lot better. It is almost as good as it's ever been. I'm not going to say it's perfect, because looking in the pipes where we were clearing them out, I can still see there's still a bit of sediment at the bottom. But we were there 3 hours, 3 guys all morning, 2 trips to refill the water thing. It was getting expensive, it was going on. I mean, we could have carried on washing out the pipes again and again just to get the very last of it out, but we called it a day once we saw that we were getting results that were pretty good. So yeah, for now we're good. I think we'll survive the summer. I'm not worried about the water at the moment. It's no fun to be worried about water all the time. But I think what I'm gonna do is just not plan to have a winter garden. Maybe like 1 bed, maybe some cabbages, maybe some broccoli. Okay, maybe a tiny winter garden, but not a big one. And our plan for the winter, the autumn, the winter, when it starts getting a lot cooler, is going to be to replace that pipe. We've really got to do it. But yeah, for now it seems to have worked, touch wood, and I can get back on with garden stuff without worrying about the water. Thought I was done with the broad beans yesterday, but I just remembered another little patch, so I think this is actually it now. So I'm just doing a bit of a chop and drop, I guess you would call it here, with the last of the broad beans. I'm just snipping them off at the roots and leaving the roots in the ground, and chopping up the leaves and leaving it on the surface. I'm going to cover this layer with compost and then straw, so it'll be at the bottom of a couple of layers, keeping nice and moist and hopefully breaking down into the soil and adding nitrogen. One thing I would quite like to get actually is like an electric leaf chipper to do this kind of chopping of leftover plant material that I just want to put straight back on the bed. If you have any experience with one, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know if you have like a good model in mind, or can tell me whether it would be good for this sort of thing. Yeah, let me know. I'm hoping to do a bit of work on the polytunnel today, but firstly I wanted to put a bit of extra drip irrigation in, coming from this IBC which we've got by the polytunnel, to about 4 fruit trees that I've got planted along this back edge of this field. We're almost through this IBC. It's 1,000 litres and I think we've had it since like January, and I've been using it just in the polytunnel and it's almost empty. So I'm going to take this opportunity to change the tap and the way we've got it set up a little bit. I did have a plan, I've got all my pieces, I can't remember exactly how they were going to go. Originally I was using this tap piece that's siliconed onto the end of this IBC cap. This had to go because it's too heavy. This tap is like super heavy and it pulls on the silicone and it leaks. So that's what I'm basically trying to replace. Okay, I've just realised this pipe has been bitten by Una, obviously. So this is going to be a tap coming off our main pipe before it gets into the IBC. So this is basically coming from our main deposit. I know it looks completely deranged, but it was actually the best thing I could come up with the components that I could buy. It actually uses the least amount of components to achieve the function of a tap. Yeah, I'm just going to check the pressure and then I'll build, if it's okay, I'll build a little stand post thing to support it. The pressure's great, that's exactly what I wanted. That's why I'm using really thick piping here, 40mm, because I wanted a nice strong current of water coming out that would just fill up watering cans really quickly. The problem is it's hot because it's been sitting in black pipes. We can either bury or try and shade out the pipe, or we can just have a bucket that we keep near the tap, and the first like flush of water that comes out we just put in that bucket, and then we use that bucket like in the morning to water some tree or something when it's cooled down. That's definitely the easiest option. That's probably what I'll do first of all. But yeah, that tap looks like it's going to work, so I'm going to work on a post. Just realised I've bought an incorrect piece. I can't believe it. I checked everything so carefully. Couldn't believe it when I saw this in the bag. This part is wrong. It should be different, but it's very easy to confuse with a different kind of T-piece. That means I can't do the irrigation to the trees today because this was going to tee off and take the pipe to the trees. But I can do everything else, so I'm going to crack on with that. Okay, this tap is working great. I really love it. It's so good to be able to fill up the watering can comfortably from a tap rather than like crouch down and fill it from the bottom of the IBC where the flow is just never very strong. It's going to make such a difference to working in the polytunnel. It looks a little bit weird, but it works well. So we're actually going away in a few days. We're leaving the farm for the first time ever, really, since we've been living here full time. And it's also the first holiday that we've had since we moved to Spain nearly 3 years ago. So it's going to be super weird.
Yeah, I still don't believe it.
Yeah, we did try and do a holiday when we first moved here. We tried to do a biking holiday like 3 years ago and it didn't go that well. Mauro got injured and had to go back on the train. So
I was injured and it made it worse.
yeah, so let's hope this holiday goes a bit better. We're actually going to Italy for my best friend's wedding. We'll be away for 2 weeks and we're leaving the farm in the hands of some really good friends who are farm sitting for us. We've been trying to get a lot done this last week, kind of unsuccessfully. So we'll just have to leave it as it is. I really wanted to get more irrigation stuff finished. I'll see what we can do this weekend. But yeah, I trust them completely with the farm. They've been here loads of times and have loads of experience with it. So we're leaving it in safe hands. They know the dogs. So yeah, we'll see you when we get back. Before we go, I wanted to answer a few questions. I asked for some questions a little while ago on Instagram and there were lots about the pregnancy and baby stuff and healthcare in Spain and things like that, which I thought we could answer for you before we go. So if that's your kind of thing, the next 10 minutes will be answering a few of those questions. If not, hope you've enjoyed this video and we'll see you in the next one. So the main question is, how is the pregnancy going? Yeah, it's going, the pregnancy is going great. The baby is doing great. We had our 20-week scan yesterday actually. Annoyingly, this is the only thing they gave us. It's a list of measurements, no pictures. They didn't print out any pictures for us, but we've got them all on the app. Although they're not very good. The only good one is of his back, which looks nice, but yeah, he wasn't being very
facing the wrong direction.
cooperative.
He was like facing down and the umbilical cord was in front of the face, so we couldn't really see the face.
So that'll be a surprise. But yeah, the baby is doing fine. Thank you for everyone who asked. That's very kind of you. Are you planning a home or a hospital birth? So the thing about Spain is that it doesn't support home births at all, either in the public or like the private healthcare system. You can't get a public healthcare midwife to come out to a home birth. You can't, if you have private health insurance, private midwives won't come out either. It's just not really supported in the way it is in the UK, for example. However, you can contract a private midwife, which is an additional expense above your social security contributions and above private health insurance contributions if you have that. It's something we're thinking about. We're further from a hospital than is recommended, so I'm struggling to find any midwives who will even consider coming out this far. So I don't know. It's something we'd like to do because I believe from what we've read and what we've studied so far that it would be safe and that it would be a good way to avoid unnecessary interventions, which we want to try and avoid. But I don't know if it's going to be possible, so we'll see.
I think it's worth saying that it's not that we don't trust medicine or science.
No.
Is that we know from sources that we read that not always hospital protocols and like policy around birth is aligns with what we want, and also the environment plays a big role, an environment in which you can relax and be comfortable, and that helps with like your mood and controls your hormones, and that controls when you have birth. So all of those factors play into the equation, and it's not very encouraging when the midwife tells you that the hospital is not nice. Like she literally told us in our face that the hospital is ugly and it's old and it doesn't have any funding. So when they tell you stuff like that, it makes you wonder if there's a better way of doing it. But at the moment, it doesn't look like there's good options without paying a lot of money that we don't have. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. How have you found the Spanish healthcare system in regards to pregnancy? So I started off in the private. I had private health insurance, which I still had from when I got my residency. So I started off trying to use that because at that point I wasn't registered in the public healthcare system. That's a long story, which is related to me trying to get, well, us trying to get our marriage registered here, which has been going on for like 2 years. It's finally happened, so I'm now in the public health service. But originally I wasn't, so I was trying to go the private route, and it was an absolute nightmare because I just couldn't get any appointments. I couldn't get an appointment before about 13 weeks, and the fact that it took me so long, phoning around so many clinics to try and find an appointment at that stage, gave me very little confidence that I'd be able to get like the regular appointments that I needed in the long run. Like no clinic will kind of take you for the whole pregnancy. They'll take you for like one appointment, and then you have to go and find somewhere else that will do you for the next ones if they can't fit you in on the next ones. So it's just like no one has responsibility, or I got the feeling that no clinic would take responsibility for the whole pregnancy and for your whole like health and well-being over the whole experience. It's up to you to go and scrabble and find appointments as and when you need them, and the waiting times that we were seeing were just ridiculous.
Yeah, I personally, like, having lived in countries with and without public healthcare system, I value how good of an idea a public healthcare system is, and like, yeah, no system is perfect, and not all countries can afford to spend as much money as they would want on those systems, but our experience with the private has been bad.
For this,
it's not a good experience this experience.
We've used it before for other things, and it's been great. If you just want one thing,
yeah, like my surgery for my eyes, in those cases it works pretty well. But
yeah, you just get your appointment, you do your thing, and you're in and you're out, and you pay for whatever it is you get. So we've done that before, and in that case my private health insurance was fine. But for something like continuous, yeah, at least in the public healthcare system, they have responsibilities. They have to see you. So we switched, and it's been fine so far. But having said that, I've only had a couple of appointments with them. I haven't had that much interaction with it yet, so it's hard to say. But so far, it seems better than the private option. Are we going to build a room for the nursery? No.
It's not enough room for a nursery.
We don't have any extra space. We have like one room up and one room down. So Davey's going to have to be in with us until we make a start on the ruin and maybe have a slightly bigger house. But for the moment, no. What are the main jobs we'd like done before the baby arrives?
So yeah, doors, basically fully winterproofing the house, well, as much as we can. So that means doors and windows for the kitchen, and change the doors for the main house, and flooring. And we also want to like knock the chimney and like make that space a bit nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the main jobs that we hope that we'll be able to
And I don't think we'll do any of those ourselves. Well, no. We'll try and get people to do it, but yeah, we'll hopefully we can get it all done in the right order. The chimney, then the floors, then the doors and stuff before September. Am I having any cravings? Not really, which is kind of disappointing because I was looking forward to finding out what weird food I was going to want to eat all the time, but no, nothing really.
Didn't you buy ice cream today?
Yeah, that was for you though.
Oh, that you literally sent me a picture of you eating an ice cream on the car.
That was an ice lolly, and that's because it was fruity. I'm really into fruit, any fruity flavors, and I used to be pretty indifferent to fruit. So
I think that counts as a craving.
Well, no, because I could live without it, but I'm just enjoying it more than I did before.
Okay. I didn't have a craving for ice cream. I welcome the ice creams you bought me, but I didn't have a craving for them.
Well, how will we work on the property with a baby? Well, that remains to be seen, but hopefully we won't have anything else to do on the house, really, by the time the baby's here. Hopefully the kitchen will be done and the floors and everything will be done, like we said. And I think, yeah, the next period of our lives are going to be more focused on the garden, the farm, and that side of things, rather than construction and renovation. I'm sure we'll still do things, but it'll probably be in the realm of like putting up shelves rather than building an entire kitchen. So I don't know what you're going to see in our videos, but I'm sure we'll find something to share with you.
Yeah, I think, and something that we're also starting to do is we're starting to like think about how we can improve how we garden and like learn more about how to do it properly, with the aim to do it just more professionally, in a sense. So I think it's having the baby and not being able to work outside as much is a good time to study and learn new stuff and talk to people and ask for advice and like really see how we can improve things.
Yeah, plan.
Plan, design.
Take stock and plan. There's a season for everything. There's seasons where you work really hard and do loads of stuff, and there's seasons where you just have to rest and step back a bit and not do so much. So yeah, we'll see what the future brings. That's all the questions. That's all the pregnancy questions anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you next week. We won't actually be here. We'll be in Italy, but we've still got a video for you.
We'll be eating lots of pizza, basically.
Yep. And ice cream for Mauro. He loves ice cream. So see you next time.